It seems like Skoda was warming us up for the whole car buying process by giving information about this thing in EMIs. First we had that outline, then we had the exterior design sketches, then we had the camouflage car drive where we could experience the car but not really tell you a lot about it, and then we had sketches of the interior. Well, it's finally time to end the suspense and get straightforward into this video. Right, I was forgetting something. Welcome everyone to the all-new Skoda Slavia. So what does it look like? Well, European cars, their updates tend to be very evolutionary, and while this does have those Eurocar lines like the Rapid, it will strike you as a brand new car. If anything, the overall stance is very similar to the Octavia in that it's very lean forward. The front end is, well, basically a lift of the global spec Fabia and includes these crystalline elements with the LED headlights. And if you look at the rear, well, plain and simply, that is oh so superb. From its very core, the platform, the Slavia is a brand new car, which is why they've gone completely fresh with the design. And they ought to have, because for reference, when the Rapid came out, the brand new release in theaters was Singham, and the Slavia comes out when we're introduced to Suryavanshi. Some interesting tidbits. Now, we were hearing about this thing being a notchback, but if you open up the boot, it's like a regular sedan. You don't have hydraulic struts over here that open up like they would in the Octavia, and the reason being cost cutting. They've been pretty straightforward about that. But one good thing is, even though you don't get that particular design which would be unique to the Slavia if they introduced it, what you do get over here is a crazy amount of boot space. 521 liters, which is very impressive even by the segment's great standards. And it's one of those few benefits that comes along with choosing sedan as your body style. A big change with this car is the size factor. Now, I'm not going to get into the numbers because the differences are just going to be in a matter of millimeters. But what you need to know is that this car has got serious presence, enough to look at cars like the Ciaz and City in the eye. As you may have learnt already, this car, the Slavia, is bigger in pretty much all dimensions than the original Octavia, which is a very cool factoid, but also a reflection of how much bigger cars have become over time.
Long story short, the Slavia stays true to Skoda's design language and is classy. Nothing about the look is over the top or loud, and this understated tone gives me the feeling that, like the Rapids, this is a design that will age well. Any gripes? Well, not that these 16s look undersized, but 17-inch wheels on the top spec would look so much sweeter.
Alright, time to hit pause for a second. There's a couple of things that you need to know. First of all, if you haven't hit subscribe already, go ahead and do it. Second, this car is going to be available in 5 color options. There's a grey, silver, white, red and blue. Third, there are 3 variants: Active, Ambition and Style. Fourth, the Kushaq is the first car that was introduced on the MQB AO IN platform, and this is the second vehicle on that very platform. And lastly, like the Kushaq has got the Taigun, the Slavia is going to have a counterpart from Volkswagen, most likely called the Virtus, and that will probably be launched about 2 to 3 months after the Slavia. So when is the Slavia being launched? If I tell you everything, you're not going to watch the rest of the video, will you? Well, there's definitely a lot of reasons to do that, because we're about to jump inside. First, take a listen. Still plenty solid, but as we saw with the Kushaq, compared to something like the Rapid, there is that little bit of sense of heft that isn't there with the MQB AO IN cars, but it still feels plenty solid. And sitting over here, this is something that I noticed even when I went for the camouflage car drive, that because it's a sedan probably, it feels more Skoda. I especially like what they've done with the choice of color patterns and designs used on the inside. Yes, those of you familiar with the Fabia outside would know that this is very similar, save for maybe the AC console and the touchscreen infotainment system. But over here you can see that family inspiration even with the Octavia, so it does have that premium vibe to it. I love the combination that they've got of this slightly dull beige, you've got piano black, this beautiful grain finish over here underneath the touchscreen, the bronze split in the middle, and then again another contrast on top. And it's coming together to look very tasteful and not at all confused. It's a great and, dare I say, European execution of it. Now next up is the quality, and again I have to say that I really like it. It does feel premium and upmarket. Yes, there's no use of soft touch plastic and maybe some of the leatherette like padding that we've seen in cars like the Honda City, but what they have used is well finished. It does feel robust, and all these buttons in here, they don't feel like a strong departure from what we've come to expect from Skoda altogether. Even the tactility of the power window switches. If you are someone who owns, say, a Rapid, this won't feel unfamiliar and certainly not like a compromise in comparison. Now this is a Skoda, so you are going to expect something simply clever, but some things that aren't also. So like we saw in the Kushaq, you've got these rubberized floors for the cup holders, you've got straps in the door pads to hold stuff in place. You've also got that red reflector on the door. There's this little recess on top of the dashboard so you can place your idles over there. And they put in a lot of thought into these basic things that just enhance the overall experience. But there are some things that don't seem all that simply clever. For example, I would have liked the key to be something different. It doesn't really seem like something brand new, especially considering this car is brand new from the ground up. And there's one thing, especially if you already own a Skoda or Volkswagen car, that you do have the one-touch up and down function for the power window, but only for the driver's seat. So as for the cabin space, I'd say it's similar to the Kushaq in some ways in that it's ideally suited to 4 adults. Even the seat contouring is perfect to support 4 people in this cabin very well, especially when you're going through corners and all like we saw in the Kushaq. Yes, you can seat someone in the middle, but it's ideally suited to kids or someone who's slender. And as for amenities, you do have these phone pockets at the back. You've also got rear AC vents, no blower speed control, and 2 Type-C chargers at the back. Now, if we're talking about outright legroom, in that case, 2 6-footers, one behind the other, absolutely fine, no issues whatsoever. If it's somebody who's as tall as I am, sitting behind my own driving position, I'd say it's doable, but I'd definitely be more comfortable doing it in something like a Honda City as compared to this.
A big benefit of being built fresh from scratch is that you can meet modern tech needs better. Ready? Let's get into it. Like the Kushaq and Tygoon, there's a 10-inch touchscreen, the swipes are smooth and the resolution's clean. CarPlay and Auto for that smartphone link, a wireless charger for when your battery needs a drink. 8-speaker sound to get your spirits high, a sunroof up top cause who doesn't love the sky. The mirrors auto dimming and the beams are auto lighting. You can leave the blades alone cause even they're auto wiping. The cluster's digital with a few displays of choice, controlled from the steering buttons with a response time that's nice. There's leather on the steering and some on the seat, ventilated too for some mercy from the heat. Keyless entry so straight in you can dart. What's that on the column? Oh, the push button start. ESCS standard and up to 6 airbags, TPMS2 for when the pressure lacks. Isofix TCS and ABS for you, MKB as well so one accident doesn't become 2. Well, that's done and it sure was a hoot, which is more than what I can say for the weather on our shoot.
Rain in the winter time, a sedan in a time of SUVs, and clean shaven weather used to be a beard. Anyway, on to the powertrain options. So over here, you're not going to have a CNG or diesel engine option available. What you will have is a 1-litre turbo-petrol as well as the 1.5-litre turbo-petrol, 3-cylinder as opposed to 4-cylinder, the 4-cylinder getting cylinder deactivation. Same engine options as you've seen in the Kushaq. And like the Kushaq, you will also have 6-speed manual transmissions as standard, with the automatic for the 1-litre being a 6-speed torque converter and the automatic for the 1.5 turbo being a 7-speed twin clutch, that is the DSG automatic transmissions. Of course, these are our first impressions, but this car comes across as something that is definitely reminding you why people love sedans to begin with. And it's definitely something that you should be paying attention to, not only if you were looking to buy a sedan, but a car altogether, SUVs included. Overall, it comes across as a great balance between the options that you currently have in the segment. Like the Verna, which is largely focused more towards a tech package, and the Honda City and Ciaz that are primarily focused more towards the space and practicality aspect of it. This thing managed to find a decent balance between the two while offering great drive sophistication as we've experienced with its engine and transmission options as well. Now, all that remains to be seen is the pricing, and that is something that is going to be a sort of tricky thing for this, not in the segment alone, but also because you're going to have SUVs available in a similar price point. As for the availability, well, January, you're going to see this car hitting showrooms as dealer showroom pieces. You're going to have test drive vehicles coming in around February. March is when we're expecting the price. And by April 2022 is when you can bring one of these back home. So would you like to do that? Go ahead and let us know in the comment section down below. For now, this is me, Tushar, signing off. Thanks for watching.